Matches Balone.
Hey, what's up, guys? Matches Balone here, coming back with a discussion video. So E3 is happening right now in Los Angeles. There's a lot of cool games on display, but of course, since this is a DC Comics fan channel, I do want to talk about the DC Comics games that are at the trade show and what my thoughts of it, right? So before we kind of jump into it, let me just explain a little bit what E3 is. E3 stands for the Electronic and Entertainment Expo. It's pretty much a big trade show where the video game industry comes out and kind of showcases all of the new games that are going to be coming out to market within the next year to 2 years. So it is kind of cool. All the big gaming companies there, the big three, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are there, and they have their own kind of little separate press conferences. And then some of the third party that kind of support all the systems, right? EA, Ubisoft, they also have their own little like press conference talking about their games as well. All the press conference, E3 is about a week long, and all the press conferences happen between Monday and Tuesday. This year it started out actually on Sunday, so it was Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday that they kind of showcase all the games that are coming out, and then the rest of the week, the I guess the media, right? Anybody who's over there at the expo actually gets to go in and kind of try out some of the games they have on display. WB, they do make games, and obviously Warner Brothers owns the DC Comics property, so there are some DC Comics related games down at E3, and I just kind of want to talk about it so you guys can kind of get an idea of what to expect this coming year or 2 years from DC Comics in regards to video games, right? So first up is Lego Dimensions. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Lego Dimensions is actually a Toys to Life video game. Now, what does that mean? That means that this is a video game where you're going to have a little action figure, and you're going to put that action figure in kind of like a little base, and then that action figure becomes the main character you play as in the video game. Now, because this is Lego Dimensions, these are little Lego minifigs, and then the little character just pops up in the video game you played. Lego Dimensions also is kind of a mashup of different properties. So not only is there DC Comics, but there's Lords of the Rings, there's Ghostbusters, The Simpsons. It's a really big crossover, to think about it in comic book terms, right? It's a big crossover. It launched last year, and it produced a lot of great content and had trickled a lot of different action figures as the year progressed as to right now. And right now at E3 they're announcing kind of like their year 2 expansion. Now, I don't believe this is going to be a completely different game. I don't think it's going to be on a new disc. I think this is all going to be just more packs to add on to your video game. At least that's what they were talking about last year. So that's really cool. So if you guys are already invested in this, it's going to be an easy upgrade. But DC Comics related, right? So what they announced for this upcoming year is that they're adding to their lineup 2 new DC Comics properties. The first one is Teen Titans Go. And I think that's really cool because obviously that already kind of capitalizes on the big cartoon that a lot of kids like, and given the fact that this is a video game and it's a Lego video game that's family friendly, I think a lot of kids are watching Teen Titans Go and are playing Lego Dimensions, so I think that just makes sense. And the other property they're bringing into Lego Dimensions is actually the Lego Batman movie. Now, this is the same thing. It is really cool that they're going to bring this along, and we're going to be able to play, I guess, Lego Batman from the movie. But at the same time, Lego Batman's already in the first generation of Lego Dimensions, right? This is the Lego Batman from the Lego Batman video games, and it's separate from the Lego Batman from the Lego movie. I know it gets a little confusing. So this is just going to be an extension of the Lego movie property, but I think it's so cool. What I'm expecting from them, from the Titans, is that we're going to get the 5 main Titans, right? Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, Robin, and Cyborg. And actually, in the trailer they released right now for E3, they do showcase Beast Boy. He shows up, a little quick cameo in the trailer. And obviously, we did see the Lego Batman from the first year, so this is not the new version of Lego Batman from the movie. But from the movie, I do expect there to be again another Batman figure. Batman is their cash cow, so they're probably going to release multiple Batmans, and people are going to buy them. So I expect there to be Batman. If you guys saw the original Lego Batman movie trailer, in there you get a glimpse of some of the rogues galleries of Batman, as well as the Justice League. So there is potential that we're going to get more DC comic characters coming straight from the Lego Batman movie property, and it's not just going to be a standalone Batman or just a lineup of Batman. So that is kind of cool. The other thing I want to talk about in regards to Lego Dimensions is that the characters that are DC Comics related that are in so far, I believe it's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn and the Joker, Bane, Aquaman, and Cyborg. So those are the characters that you can play as right now. If you guys want to go out and buy Lego Dimensions, you can get all the DC comic characters right now. Now, the only reason to bring it up is because obviously we already have a Cyborg. So I'm wondering, the Beast Boy that we saw in the trailer is very, animated comic book version, cartoon version of Beast Boy from Teen Titans Go. So I am wondering if we're going to get a different Cyborg figure, or are they just going to use the same Cyborg figure, but then the model in the video game is going to look different. The other thing I want to bring up is that technically Robin is in Lego Dimensions. He plays, I guess, a crucial role in the story of Lego Dimensions and why all these, universes are crossing over. So the same thing, I wonder if we're going to get a Robin figure that's more cartoon-like, or are we just going to get a Robin that already looks like the Robin that's in the video game, since technically those are all the same characters. So that is kind of interesting. And they also did not say if the Teen Titans Go property or the Batman or Lego Batman property are going to have any kind of story element. Usually when these figures are released, they're released in a story pack or a level pack, or I guess a level pack, fun pack, or a team pack. Right, and I know it gets confusing, but I think the level pack is what introduces more story, right, more levels into the video game. So they haven't said if any of the Titans are going to have it or any of the Lego Batman. I expect there to be a level pack for Lego Batman just because, again, they're probably going to tell some of the story from the movie. And I think Teen Titans Go is going to lend itself quite nicely to team packs because obviously there's, a whole group of them. So I think that'll be a smart guess. But again, who knows? We might be getting level packs from Teen Titans Go. Also, in Lego Dimensions, they are introducing this kind of like battle mode, and apparently all the new properties from year 2 are getting battle mode levels. And they're very simple, it's like capture the flag type of gameplay that they showcased. But if there's going to be level packs based on that, then maybe we might get a Teen Titans Go world for this, this kind of multiplayer arena stuff. Same thing for Lego Batman. So that's just some of my guesses. The other thing I want to talk about right before we kind of move on to the next game is the fact that there's kind of been these like leaked images of these like single bags of a Green Arrow figure and a Supergirl figure, and these are for Lego Dimensions. Now, they haven't announced anything about them showing up in the video game, but the rumor is that supposedly these are being handed out at E3. So I'm expecting them to be fully playable in the Lego Dimensions game. They're probably just going to work with the existing stuff that happened as of year 1, just new characters for the DC Comics lineup. I expect them to be on sale, sold as a 2-pack down the line. If not, these are really going to be hard figures that you're probably going to have to buy on eBay because so far they only said they're giving them out, or the rumor is they're giving them out during E3. But yeah, that's pretty much all the DC comic related stuff as far as Lego Dimensions. When more information comes out, I'll see if I make some videos and kind of talk about it. Super interested in the game. I wanted to get the game from day 1, but life happens, so I haven't been able to get around to it. But this is definitely selling me on, just so many cool properties coming to Lego Dimensions that I definitely want to pick it up. And like I said, Lego is a family-friendly game, so if you're interested in video games and you have a younger, friend that wants to play as well, Lego Dimensions is a great way to play and introduce some of those DC comic characters. The other game I want to talk about is Batman the Telltale series. So Batman the Telltale series, this has been announced, I think since December, during the Video Game Awards. They did announce this video game, but there hasn't been any information until right now recently. Now, they didn't give us a trailer to kind of showcase what the game is, but they did show off these 4 screenshots, and they did talk about what to expect from the video game. So, for those of you guys who don't know, a Telltale game is kind of a very click and choose story-based video game. It's kind of hard to describe, but essentially you play as a character in a narrative, and it's not a lot of kind of gameplay aside from, you know, pick where to go, you know, what are your choices in a dialogue, and, you know, depending on all the different choices you make is how the story progresses. So that's really cool. It is it is very narrative heavy and not so much gameplay heavy. And this is coming from someone who has not played the Telltale game, so maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe they have changed. But what they're really known for so far, like their biggest games, have been the Walking Dead series. So if you guys want to look up Walking Dead Telltale, you know, just look at a video like that, and it'll pretty much tell you everything you need to know about this style of game. And they're just gonna pretty much put that through the Batman filter, right? So that's really cool. Now, something interesting about Telltale is that these are episodic games. So they do say, hey, we have this big story that we're going to put out, but we're going to split it up into pieces. We're going to put them as episodes, and they're going to trickle along as the year progresses, right? So far what I've known is that usually one episode from, you know, one of their series tends to last about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half on average. And they said that, or I believe they said that Batman, the Telltale series, would have about 5 episodes. So if each episode, you know, let's say it's 2 hours long, that's about 10 hours of content, and I think 10 hours of a story is really good. You know, and a lot of people kind of describe Telltale series to almost be like a TV show, right? They release an episode, you play it, and then a couple of months later, they release another episode, and you get more of the story, and you progress like that. So, since it is episodic, they do tend to do this digitally, right? Where, you know, the episode drops, you go to your PlayStation store, your Xbox store, whatever, and you download it. They also said that there is going to be this almost kind of like a season pass disc at retail. The game is going to drop, they didn't say when it's going to drop, but they did say the retail version is going to drop later on in the summer. So the digital version is going to come out first. But the interesting about the retail version is that it's going to be a season pass disc. So on the disc, I believe it's probably going to have the first episode, and then it's going to give you access. So as soon as the other episodes drop, you're going to be automatically be able to download it for free. I don't know if when you download it, it becomes permanent on the disc or whatnot. So that's a little confusing. You know, like I said, I've never really played a Telltale game, so I don't really know just how beneficial it is to have the, you know, the actual physical disc of the game compared to just having a digital version. But it is really cool. I'm really interested in the game. From the screenshots they show, I'm not really digging the style that they're going for. It looks like a very early Batman, not necessarily a Batman year one, just a Batman who's kind of early in his career. I think some of the character models and some of the, you know, they showcase the Batmobile and the Batcave. It's very reminiscent to the Arkham series, and I really like the Arkham series, but you know, it just looks really weird to me. It almost gives me this Arkham Origins vibe, you know, and I don't hate Arkham Origins. I actually I like the game quite enough, but you know, for whatever reason, I'm just not really liking the kind of the design choices that they're picking for the game so far. Like I said, I haven't seen a really full-fledged trailer where it is in motion, so I'm waiting for that before you know, I pass judgment, right? But yeah, definitely interested in this. They did kind of talk about some of the voice actors, but what's really cool is who these voice actors are portraying. So far, the characters that are going to be in this game are obviously Bruce Wayne / Batman. It's going to be Selena Kyle, Catwoman, Alfred, Pennyworth, Lieutenant James Gordon, right? Lieutenant Carmen Falcone, and Vicky Vale. I believe those are all the characters that... oh, and Harvey Dent. And so I believe those are all the characters that have so far been announced to show up in this Telltale games. So just by some of these names so far, you know, the fact that they're kind of using Harvey Dent instead of Two-Face, I think it's kind of... and Lieutenant instead of Commissioner, I think it's kind of showing that this is a very... a very early in the career of Batman, right? To obviously Harvey Dent hasn't become Two-Face, and Lieutenant hasn't been promoted to Commissioner Gordon. They also talk about how, you're going to spend just as much time as Bruce Wayne as you did with Batman, and they're going to play off the psyche of what it means for Bruce Wayne to be Bruce Wayne and still help the world, as well as donning the Batman cowl and becoming Batman. So I think that's very cool. Like I said, this is very story driven, and people who have played Telltale games have said it's one of the best stories they've ever played. So I'm super excited for this. Telltale has said they're trying to make it like a living, breathing comic book. So to me, I'm already sold. I'm sold on with the fact that it has the Batman logo and it's going to be a Batman story. But if it really is going to be a living, breathing comic book, I can see no wrong with that. So definitely excited for it, and just, interested to see how it's going to show up and, when I get to play it. The third game I want to talk about is called Batman Arkham VR. Now, it's a little bit of a weird game because this is a VR game. For those of you guys don't know, VR is gonna be a really big thing coming this year and the following years. And so Rocksteady and bringing the Batman Arkham series into the VR. This is going to be exclusive to PlayStation VR alone. They haven't mentioned anything about it's going to come up to other platforms. So because it is exclusive to PlayStation VR, it's probably not, or not probably, it's definitely not going to show up on Xbox or PC or anything else. Lego Dimensions and Telltales have so far been multi-platform, and you can essentially get it any device you own right now, but Arkham VR is definitely going to be PlayStation only. So in the trailer that it released, you just pretty much hear the Joker talking in the background, talking very menacingly and talking about how you put on a mask. And then as the video progresses, the camera's kind of panning around the cape and cowl of Batman, and it pretty much just ends with hashtag wear the cowl. Now they have talked about how Batman Arkham VR is at the trade show and people have been playing it, and really the head director, the head of the studio from Rocksteady, who has made essentially all of the Batman games except for Arkham Origins, he's talked about how this is a more personal story. It's a more personal driven story, and it's almost like a mystery, and the whole game is from first person, and it's how you're solving a mystery, right? A murder mystery. And that there's a lot of Arkham elements into it. You're going to have the back grapple where you're going to be able to point in it and you grapple to that place. You're going to use a lot of those kind of like forensic that he uses in the regular Batman game to solve and find all these clues. So I'm definitely interested. They haven't talked about too much if there's really combat play. The fact that they keep bringing up story and that it's very story driven, I'm expecting it to not have a lot of combat. Again, because it's VR, so, but, he also goes to the point to say that you're going to see a lot of famous Batman locations like Wayne Manor and the Batcave. So I think just being able to walk around there and kind of see, obviously in the Batcave, he has the big penny and he has the dinosaur. To be able to kind of see that stuff will be really cool. What's really interesting is that because this is VR, this is a new a media for the video game industry, and I remember that I apologize, I just forget his name, but the head of Rocksteady Studios did say that it's kind of hard to judge because everybody experienced VR in a different path, but the story roughly is about an hour in length. So it's a smaller game in general, but I think the immersiveness of it all. I think it's still going to be a lot of bang for your buck, and it's still something you should keep your eye out, especially if you're a fan of the Arkham series like me. Like I said, Mark Hamill was doing the voiceover during the trailer, and people who have been playing the game said that they can hear Kevin Conroy do the voice of Batman. So, and also they did talk about how there's a moment where you put on the suit, so I think that alone is going to be really cool. But yeah, I don't know where in the timeline this takes place. Is this before Arkham Knight? Is it before Arkham Asylum? Is it after everything? It doesn't really talk about in any of that. But the fact that we're getting another Arkham game and it is in VR, which, it's a new media, I'm super excited. The studio is excited. They actually said their last game was going to be Arkham Knight, but when they found out about the VR, they just needed to make a Batman game. So I'm super excited for all the excitement the studio is putting after this. And then the last game I want to talk about today is Injustice 2. So Injustice Gods Among Us was a game that came out, I believe, 2013, and it was a fighting game coming from the studio that made Mortal Kombat, right? The studio NetherRealm. And it's a fighting game based in the DC Comics characters. So you have Batman, Superman, Lex Luthor, the Joker. All these characters are fighting. It is an Elseworld story where, you know, Superman kind of goes crazy and becomes the ruler of the world, and so now Batman has to kind of battle against him. But obviously that video game, you know, it just sold tremendously well. A lot of people played it. It became really popular. That obviously they're making a sequel. Now, they did release 2 trailers at E3 for Injustice 2. There is a kind of just an announcement trailer where you see some of the characters fighting, and then there's a little bit of a gameplay trailer where they do showcase some new characters coming into the Injustice game. I did make 2 videos on both trailers, so if you guys want to go check them out, you know, feel free. I'll try to have all the trailers linked into this description, you know, so you guys can kind of check out all the trailers I'm talking about in this video. But yeah, some of the new characters they're showcasing is, you know, Atrocitus, Gorilla Garage, Supergirl. And there are some returning characters like The Flash, Batman, Superman, and Aquaman. So far the lineup is really cool. They did say that this Injustice 2 is going to have the biggest roster so far compared to Injustice 1. So I'm expecting a lot of the characters from Injustice 1 to, you know, to make the transition and be in Injustice 2. The gameplay looks awesome. It looks one thing I want to talk about. It looks a lot brighter. You know, there's just so much colors to the world. You know, the backgrounds look really interesting, and I think that's very story driven. You know, where we're going to be fighting at. Another major thing coming to Injustice 2 is this new kind of gear system. It's an RPG-like where the more you play the game, you're going to be able to unlock different armor for your characters that are going to essentially kind of morph the stats of the character. So depending on the armor pieces that you put on your Batman, he's going to have a stronger attack or a stronger defense, you know, maybe a better projectile. And you're going to be able to do that with essentially every character in the video game. And so the thing they're really stressing is that, you know, you and me might be using Superman, but my Superman could be completely different to your Superman, and your Batman could be completely different to my Batman. So I think that's really cool. You know, I said it in my other video, I'm a little nervous about that just because fighting games in general are, that's my favorite genre, and coming from a massive, you know, fighting game community, you kind of want to have these base characters so you learn how to battle against each other, and if each character is very different, I don't know how that's going to work when it comes to, you know, let's say tournament play, right? But, you know, overall, super excited. I think Injustice 2 is probably the one game I'm excited most out of everything I talked about today. Just like I said, it's fighting games, and that's my favorite genre. I loved Injustice 1. I'm actually hoping to get a game capture device so that I can kind of start playing some of the DC comic games that have come out so far, you know. Obviously Lego Batman 3, or the whole Lego series actually, the Lego Dimensions, the Arkham series is going to get re-released in PS4, so I'm hoping to play that for you guys, and Injustice, you know, the first Injustice game, I definitely want to play that, and kind of just build up all these kind of video game content so that when these new games come out this year, you know, you guys kind of already know some of the story behind them, and we can just kind of jump straight into it, you know. I'm not sure if I want to do Let's Plays or not, but it's definitely something to think about. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's coming out of E3 so far. Like I said, it is Tuesday, so far everything has been announced, but maybe something later on in the week, more DC Comics related video games come out. If there is, I'll try to tell you guys, and you know, if there's a lot of content, maybe make another video. If not, you know, I might tweet it out or something. But yeah, those are all the games that, you know, I think you guys as a DC Comics fan should definitely keep an eye out if you guys are interested. If you guys just want to have a fun game to play with your family, Lego Dimensions has a lot of DC comic characters. If you want a very story-heavy game that, you know, there's not a lot of gameplay, but it's just a really rich story, the Telltale games is going to be perfect. If you want to be trying something that's cutting edge but still be immersed in the DC Comics world, the Batman Arkham VR is going to be great for you. And, you know, if you just want to, you know, show why Superman could easily beat Batman, Injustice 2 is the way to go. And actually, all the games are coming out this year, right? The expansion packs, games, whatever, are coming out this year. Injustice 2 is actually coming out 2017. So I think that's really cool considering the 2017 the Justice League movies can come out. So and Injustice when we got Man of Steel costumes, I'm hoping that for Injustice 2 we're gonna get some Justice League costumes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Those are all kind of like all the thoughts I have, everything I want to talk to you guys about. So go ahead, feel free to comment down below. Are you guys excited for any of these games coming up? Are you guys interested in any games outside of DC Comics? You know, whatever it is, tell me. You know, I definitely want to hear and kind of discuss it with you guys. Like the video, guys. Like it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe and look forward to more videos, guys. Thanks. Laters.